In this video, I'm going to go super in depth on Brez Scale's multi-six-figure sales funnel, breaking down exactly how it works all the way from traffic acquisition straight to interested lead conversion. I'm going to go through his email strategy, his social media strategy, as well as how he structures his website to get maximal conversion. And I'm going to include a last bonus part of this funnel at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. All right, so before we get too ahead of ourselves here, let's break down exactly what products that Brez actually sells. Brez Marketing, which is his social media marketing agency, Brez Flow, which is his productivity health drink, and also the Elite Roundtable, which is his high ticket coaching offer that offers one-on-one coaching calls as well as a private community. And in this video, I'm going to be sticking mainly to breaking down the coaching and also Brez Marketing. I'm not actually going to be breaking down the Brez Flow brand in this video at least. So now that you know what he sells, let's get into the traffic and nurture phase of the sales funnel. Now, Brez has three main traffic sources. Those are his TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So let's break down his TikTok first, where he has 263,000 followers. And on his TikTok in general, he makes super raw, kind of unedited content and talking head videos. Talking head videos are really good for making the audience see your face as much as physically possible. And on Instagram, they're really good for audience nurture. Now on TikTok, Brez gets anywhere from 30 to 100,000 views, and every once in a while one of his videos will blow up and get to 1 million plus. And one of the most popular types of TikToks that he actually makes are these responding to comments TikToks, where he'll just respond to a negative or maybe neutral comment and he'll just spin it in a really funny way that gets the audience to like him much more. Overall, he posts a ton of lifestyle content that is building a ton of authority. And after they watch 5 to 10 TikToks that Brez has made, they're going to know Brez by that point. So they're going to move on to his Instagram. On his Instagram, Brez has 326,000 followers and a super simple, super effective bio. The bio isn't being cut off, which is something I see a lot of coaches and consultants do, which is a really big mistake. So watch out for that. Before we break down his story highlights, let's get into the type of content that he actually posts. On Instagram, Brez is getting way more views. His views range from 100,000 all the way to 1 million view videos. These are again talking head videos and are super raw. So he'll make these videos every once in a while when he's goofing off with his friends, when he's in his car, when there are life updates, like when he buys a new watch, a new car, stuff like that. That's when he posts updates on his Instagram. And these Instagram reels are mainly for nurturing the audience and getting as much traffic into Brez's funnel as physically possible. These Instagrams also sometimes build a personal connection with Brez when he relates about his general daily life. And this also helps get people to trust Brez, because for some reason when people are rich, you just generally tend to trust them much more. That's why Brez can show off his cars and his money, his revenue, and his crazy lifestyle, and show off the dreamland to the audience. And what the Instagram is doing here is getting people to know and like Brez. Now, before we move on to his YouTube, let's check out his story highlights, where he posts whips, life, fits, and marketing. Now on whips, life, and fits, he'll post pictures of his really expensive cars. He'll post pictures of his really expensive clothes, designer clothes, all of this kind of stuff. And it aligns with his personal interests, so it gets the audience to like Brez much more and connect with them and relate with them when they also have these kinds of interests. And even if you're not interested in cars or clothes, this lifestyle type of content still builds a ton of credibility, because that means that what you're doing actually works. In the last story highlight called marketing, what he does here is a ton of social proof. These are just a ton of student testimonials, like screenshots that a student sent, success stories, a ton of social proof. That makes it much more likely that they're going to buy, because they trust Brez much more. And now after they know and like Brez, they're going to move on to his YouTube channel, where they're going to get to know, like, and also trust Brez. Now on Brez's videos, he posts general lifestyle content about his cars, content about his revenue, and content about him goofing off with his friends, buying new watches, and just general lifestyle content, showing off the dreamland and showing that what Brez does actually works. So SMMA, or freelance brand scaling, as Brez calls it, his unique mechanism, actually works, and that Brez can teach it. Now all of these top of funnel lifestyle content videos are getting tons and tons of views, but you can't just run a funnel off of top of funnel content alone. That's why about 10% of his content is bottom of funnel content, where these bottom of funnel videos will not get as many views as his top of funnel videos, of course. But these viewers that watch his bottom of funnel videos get a ton of value from these educational style videos. And if you can get a prospect to be shocked at how much value you're giving away for free, then it's much more likely that they'll buy your course. Because if they're getting something for free that's this good, imagine what they get in the course. So bottom of funnel content is mandatory for any funnel to actually run, no matter what. And a really interesting thing that Brez does throughout his content, in real time, he will get notifications of his revenue. So those will be Shopify notifications, stuff like that. And it'll be like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 at once, and he will show those notifications in real time. That is a really interesting form of social proof, and that I've not seen other coaches and consultants in the space do that much. And it's something that Brez has figured out that makes such a big difference. It makes it so much more believable. And going back to the point before, where you can rent Lamborghinis, you can rent Rolexes, you can rent these expensive things, but you can't just fake the notifications in real time. I mean, you can, but it's going to be very difficult. So the audience does not really suspect that these notifications are fake. And it's a really good and trustworthy form of social proof. It's just like taking screenshots of a payment processor. It looks familiar and it looks really believable. Now, what these YouTube videos are mainly doing are they're nurturing the audience. Now, what nurturing means is that these videos are making the audience see Brez's face as much as physically possible. And this all works through these long 1 hour, 40 minute, 45 minute, 25 minute, 24 minute long videos. And there was actually a Google study done on this. It's called the 7-11-4 strategy. And what it basically entails is that the viewers have to watch 7 hours of your content across 11 different touch points in 4 different locations. In the 7 hours of content, people can watch 10 or 15 of your videos in a few days, really easily. So they can consume 7 hours of Brez's content super easily, just watching a few of his videos. And he has a total of 65 videos. So imagine if the audience watched more than that. That would mean that they would know Brez super deeply, would like him a lot, and would trust him a ton because of all of the value that he's given to them. And 11 different touch points just means different videos. And a touch point does not have to be in the same social media. So you can count all of the Instagram reels that they watched and the TikToks that they watched as different touch points. So you can see how this ecosystem of social medias really works together to get a prospect to eventually buy. And then the 4 locations just means different social medias, email, SMS, stuff like that. Just different ways that they're contacted and different ways that they see Brez and consume his content. The second thing that these YouTube videos are doing are they're building a ton of authority, especially these educational videos that he posts every once in a while. Those are building a ton of authority. The third goal of his YouTube channel is to humanize Brez. And coming back to that point of being put on a pedestal, we do not want that. So the way that Brez humanizes himself is by sharing genuine hurdles, sharing genuine struggles in his life, and sharing stories of when he was starting out his business, where he couldn't do anything, where he didn't know anything about social media marketing. He wants to be relatable to the audience. He does not want to be some kind of alien being that is somehow gifted in all ways. And the last goal of his YouTube channel is connection building. Now, connection building is kind of the same as in humanizing, but connection building is also done through making the audience feel like you genuinely care about them and their success and where they're going. And Brez does a really good job of that, mixing in real content, as in real emotional content, talking about like emotions, stuff like that, family, relationships, all of that kind of stuff, in with all of his other educational and lifestyle content where he's just goofing off. Now, after the traffic generation nurture phase, we move on to lead generation and conversion. The way we're going to do this is that I'm going to first of all break down his mini course / VSL funnel here. And then I'm also going to break down his Brez marketing funnel here. So for selling his coaching and consulting offer, what Brez does here is kind of a lead magnet plus VSL sort of funnel. The way this works is that Brez makes his VSL seem like a type of mini course or some kind of really valuable resource. And he'll make it look like it's a lead magnet. So the prospect will go to the page, they'll see the title. And I must say the title is really good. It fulfills 3 of the 4 U's of making a good title. That is unique with the freelance brand scaling, ultra specific by saying fat Fortnite kid. Then we also have the useful, which is everybody wants the exact strategy to go to over 6 figures a month from somebody who is already there. And so there's a CTA right here, unlock the mini course. And when you press here, he's going to ask you for your email, phone number, and also name. And after you give him your email, phone number, and name, he's going to send you over to this page. A really cool thing about this funnel is that because the person has given you their email and the phone number, due to the sunk cost fallacy, they're going to be much more likely to watch the VSL because they've already sacrificed something, so they might as well get their email and phone numbers worth. And so it makes it so much more likely that they will actually watch the VSL. And the thing that I really like about this page is that there are so many different types of social proof. Like right here, there's actually supposed to be a few videos. I'm not sure why they're not loading, but basically he has a ton of video testimonials. He has a ton of text testimonials. He also has a ton of payment processor screenshot where his clients are actually sending genuine screenshots and pictures of what they've gotten through his course. So the results they've gotten, the revenue, the numbers they've reached, the success they've achieved. And this page goes on and on and on. So I've cut off the bottom part here because I don't want to bore you with a ton of social proof. But there's a really long page. It's like twice as long here just with social proof. And that's something he's done really right with this page. A ton of social proof. He's put as much as physically possible. Now going over to the Brez marketing page, the first thing that you actually notice on this page is that there's a payment processor screenshot. Payment processor screenshots work really well as social proof. The reason is because they're familiar to the audience and they've seen it many times. They work really well as social proof. They're much more believable than other forms of social proof. And I genuinely really like this. Then below that, he's going to list all the brands that he's helped through his agency. The reason this works so well as social proof is because whenever you list a brand name or their logo or stuff like that, you're actually borrowing the brand's reputation with their audiences. You're also borrowing the trust that the audience has with the brand. Now, even if the audience does not know these brands, for example, I don't know any of these brands personally, but even if they don't know these brands, just having the fact that you've helped genuine actual brands as social proof works really well. Then down here, he's going to explain exactly what you get when you sign up with this agency. Super good. The confused prospect does not buy, so you want the prospect to know exactly what's going to happen once they buy your product. Again, more payment processor pictures, and here he's actually added a little bit of a variation. He's actually used the Shopify payment processor here. This is going to be even more familiar to many more people. Then down here again, another payment processor picture, 12.5x ROAS. ROAS, by the way, if for those of you who don't know, return on ad spend, really good. 12.5x ROAS is really good for the clothing brands that he's actually working with. And as you can see throughout this website, he has added in as many CTAs as physically possible, more social proof, and then at the end, of course, a CTA at the bottom. So super well made page. The one small problem that I have with it is that he has only used payment processor screenshots. And sure, they do work very well, but it kind of gets repetitive. So I'd love if he added some more testimonials like video testimonials, text testimonials, or some other type of testimonial or some other type of social proof. And that'd be really nice and would definitely make an effect. Now that we've broken down both of these websites, let's get into the main conversion opportunity, which is the email. Now, I've seen a lot of coaches and consultants skimp on their emails, and these things are so goddamn important. It's insane because you can keep warm leads interested, you can contact your leads, you can make sure they join the call with these emails, you can just give them tons and tons of value as well, making your quality of leads in general just go sky high compared to if you didn't do emails. And so Brez's email strategy is mainly that he emails every 2 days, and these emails are all value added emails. So that would mean emails that you're fine paying $15 to $20 to get the actual value that's inside. Then he also does case studies plus success stories, which case studies and success stories are of course a ton of social proof. And especially when someone relates with a success story or a case study, it makes them so much more likely to buy because you've helped multiple people that are in the exact situation that they are in. So why couldn't you help them? Case studies and success stories, really effective. And then at the end, if someone's gone to his website and leaves and does not buy anything, he's going to send retargeting emails. So now let's get into a little bonus part that is his pre-call flow. I spent multiple days just going through this entire pre-call flow, noting it down for you guys so I could summarize it for you in less than 5 minutes. So definitely listen up because this is a ton of value. First of all, of course, the call is going to be booked. the VSL is going to be sent on WhatsApp because you want to make sure that the prospect sees the VSL at all costs. A group with the setter and the closer will be created in WhatsApp, of course. This is going to include the client as well. And then we're going to send the client confirmation 24 hours before. This is just going to be confirmation through email and SMS. And this is, of course, going to be automated. We're going to send a manual reminder 6 hours before. This is going to be through the email, SMS, and also in the WhatsApp group. Another manual reminder 3 hours before. And then we're going to have the setter call the prospect an hour before the main sales call, where he's just going to confirm, like, are you ready to show up for the call? Are you going to do it? And if they're not going to, then he's just going to convince the prospect to actually show up. Then lastly, we're going to have a manual reminder 5 minutes before the actual call. Now, after this, we're going to send the link to the call. Now, there's 3 paths that the prospect can take here. That is going to be either a no-show. So if they're a no-show, we're going to do 7-day follow-ups by the setter. 7-day follow-ups through call, email, SMS, WhatsApp, just to have a last-ditch effort to finally have the prospect show up. The second possibility is that they show but are not closed. In that case, what Brez does is he's going to keep the lead warm with free exclusive resources. He probably just sets aside a few videos as exclusive resources just to send to these types of clients. And also maybe he sends them a few of his lead magnets, or even maybe he reserves some of his lead magnets for these specific clients. So in general, we just want to give them some special value, make them feel exclusive and special and different from everyone else, to keep them as warm as physically possible so that they maybe eventually actually buy your product or book another call. And then the third possibility is that they show and are fully closed, in which case we're all happy, we get money, the prospect gets tons of value, everybody lives happily ever after. Now that was an entire breakdown of Brez Scale's sales funnel. And recently Brez has been growing really fast, and he is a big player in the info space. If you're a coach, consultant, or a course creator, definitely implement some of these teachings into your own funnel. But of course, every single coach and consultant needs a specific funnel in specific situations. Some of the tips that I gave in this video aren't going to work for your sales funnel. Some of the things that Brez does aren't going to work for your specific product. So if you're interested in booking a call with me and getting a free funnel analysis done for you within 30 minutes, giving you a ton of value, go ahead and click the link down below. And even if you're not interested in booking a call, go ahead and still click the same link down below to check out a really high converting landing page and VSL to implement into your own coaching and consulting business. And if you're not interested in doing any of that and you just want to watch another one of my videos, go ahead and check this one out because YouTube thinks that you'll probably like it. Peace.